It's Wednesday, May 22nd. Welcome to your Barbados Today Evening News Update. So glad you can join us. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Our top story. A 9-member jury today returned a unanimous verdict declaring Richard Delisle Arthur guilty of an ammunition charge. He was accused of having 102 rounds of ammunition in his possession on January 31st, 2012 without a valid license to do so. Arthur, who was represented by attorneys Andrew Pilgrim of QC and Kyle Watts, was remanded to HMP Dodds until July 19 for a report pending a sentence. Principal Crown Counsel Alliston Seal prosecuted the case, which was heard by Justice Randall Worrell. The Grantley Adams International Airport will remain in the hands of the government. Word of this from Prime Minister Mia Mottley today. She made the revelation moments before the GAIA and the International Finance Corporation signed a financial advisory services agreement which will result in major upgrades to the airport.
We had been in discussions with the IFC in order to be able to see what we could do with the urgent injection of capital and opportunities for joint ventures with the Grantley Adams International Airport. After much discussions, we came to the view that the government would retain ownership of the Grantley Adams International Airport. We will eventually do a divestment partially of some limited shares to the National Insurance Scheme and to the workers of the airport, but that without prejudice to that and the retention of the majority ownership of the asset, that we would work to do a long-term concession on the airport because it is urgently in need of major capital refurbishment.
According to the IFC's Regional Vice President, Latin America, Caribbean, Europe, and Central Asia, Georgina Baker, the agreement will allow the IFC and the GAIA to begin on the diagnostic work, transactional structure, and design for the GAIA.
I would like to congratulate the Government of Barbados in choosing to improve the Grantley Adams International Airport through a public-private partnership. Through this mechanism, the private sector will be responsible for undertaking the required capital works, financing operations and maintenance of the airport under a long-term contract obligation. The length of the concession is to be finalised. The signing of the FASA, the Financial Advisory Service Agreement, will allow IFC and the Grantley Adams International Airport Incorporated to begin work on the diagnostic work and the transaction structuring design for the GAIA, the airport, international airport, and that will include technical, legal, financial, and environmental and social due diligence.
GAIA Chairman Vic Fernand says today's initiative fits well into current projects designed to improve the visitor experience and ensure that GAIA is a first-class airport.
We're about to start the repaving of Grantley Adams International Airport, long overdue. The expansion of the regional lounge. We've already completed Gate 14 and 16 as a temporary facility to facilitate the air-to-sea, sea-to-air transport. We've removed the process of immigration from the departure. We're adding new scanners at the moment. Additional kiosks, 32 in number, are going to be added. And eventually you will see the elimination of the ED forms, those horrendous forms that you have to fill out every time you come in. In addition, there are several other plans and projects, the introduction of air bridges, the upgrade of the general facilities in Grantley Adams Airport. So this project will dovetail nicely with the ones that we are currently doing at Grantley Adams International Airport.
Growth must be issue number one if government wants to pull Barbados out of its current economic slump. That's the view of Michigan University Professor of Economics, Dr. Linda Tasser, the Central Bank of Barbados' 6th Distinguished Visiting Fellow. Speaking at the UWI today, she stressed if Barbados is to rein in its debt to 60% of gross domestic product, growth is the only real option.
I think there's a temptation to say growth is the way out, and we're going to do all the things to promote growth. One should. I mean, what I'm about to say should not discourage anyone from pursuing all of those policies, but I think it's a danger to think that growing one's way out of debt is the path to pursue. As I just said, we've had this global decline in productivity. Disruptive technology can be disruptive. It's probably very good in the long run, but in the short run, it can be painful. We don't really know where growth comes from. The other problem is that the debt problem, when you get to a debt problem that's where it needs to be restructured, it's big. And the amount of growth it's going to take is sort of huge. So, and according to the IMF, only one country has really successfully used growth alone as the mechanism for getting out of debt.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Regional news now. In Guyana, the mother of a prisoner who died after consuming a liquid is demanding answers. Sharon Banwell Petty insists that she's not been told the truth about her son's death. The details now in this report from HGPTV Nightly News.
28-year-old Gary Stewart met his demise allegedly after drinking a substance while working on a quarry owned by a well-known construction company. He was working as a plumber while incarcerated, as he was expected to be released in November of this year. The dead man's mother, Sharon Barnwell Petty, recounted what happened when she received the unexpected call on May 11th.
The call and I said, "Is this Sharon Barnwell, Gary's mother?" I said, "Yes, it's Gary's mother." I said, "Okay, moms. Well, sorry to tell you, your son died." So I say, "Gary Short?" So yes, Gary Short. Gary Short drank some substance, not liquid, some substance, and he died. He and some other prisoners, but they rushed Gary Short to the hospital. The hospital, which in his Bartica, pronounced him dead.
A reliable source told Nightly News that Stewart, along with 7 other inmates who were working on the quarry, drank the substance in the bottle. The other inmates were admitted to the hospital and have recovered. Barnwell claims the last day her son worked on the quarry was on May 9th. This, she said, he wrote in one of the books he used to attend school while in prison.
On the international scene, British Prime Minister Theresa May was dealt a significant blow today when one of her top cabinet ministers resigned. Andrea Leadsom, the leader of the House of Commons and a prominent Brexiteer, said she could no longer carry out her duties because she fundamentally opposes May's latest Brexit bill. In her letter of resignation posted on Twitter, she said she could not see a way forward with the new Brexit deal. Pundits say Leadsom's resignation could trigger further defections from May's ailing government ahead of the Prime Minister's 4th attempt to get her beleaguered Brexit deal passed. And that's news. But for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Isonium Media in bus terminals as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good evening.